Hello, hello from my nursery, from my oasis, from my safe space. Um, can refer to me as Obi. Um, I've taken it upon myself to be a source of change in an industry that I feel is preying upon a really vulnerable population. Um, namely, namely speaking, the cannabis industry. Yep, talking about weed today. Um, if you've smoked weed at any point in your life, there's a high probability you've consumed something that was tainted, something that had some form of bud rot, some form of yeast, aspergillus, maybe pesticides, plant growth regulators, you name it. Because unfortunately, it wasn't legal in our great country, that being the United States, for a long time. For a litany of reasons, that's another video. We can go into why and how cannabis was criminalized. But in 2024, as I record this, November 7th, 2024, the reality is that there's a huge economic opportunity that exists within this federally unregulated industry. $35 billion opportunity. And with that being said, people are trying to cut corners that act on said opportunity. Let's take New York. How long have they been suspending their mold and yeast testing requirements? If that's something you want to research, I'll be sure to post that link in my channel description. I'm willing to provide a lot of literature. I'll email people, but unfortunately, one of the biggest recreational markets in the country, aside from California, doesn't even test their products for yeast, or doesn't require that there be a testing requirement met. What does that mean? So, in most recreational states, there is a threshold for how much colony forming units per batch a cannabis product can have. Those have been suspended. So, whether the limit was one colony forming unit, 10, 100, it no longer matters. And colony forming unit is just a unit of measurement to say how viably and prolifically mold can propagate given the amount of mold that it was found on a specific batch, how readily it can propagate in a confined environment. So, propagate meaning grow. That said, if you live in New York now, sprayed weed is not your, mind you, there's a whole number of issues that exist with that. But spray weed isn't your only issue. Spray weed isn't the only danger that exists in the recreational market. Even the stuff that's in dispensaries that appears to have been vetted, appears to have been potent, could be covered in mold and yeast. And this isn't something that you're going to be able to see unless it's like disgustingly bad with the naked eye, unfortunately. And most people who are dependent on the substance, they don't care. That's not what they're looking for when they go to purchase weed in the first place. They're looking for an escape. Our government is leveraging it. They're they're making a play on that. And as someone who's been using for a while now, it's like before I went sober in August, and mind you, it'll be 3 months and 4 days. Before I went sober in August, it had been damn near a decade that I had been a stoner, so to speak. And it just got to a point where I couldn't quiet the thoughts. Like I had concerns. I had I had qualms and a real discomfort for where I saw the cannabis industry going, considering who is realizing the most success right now. If we're being honest, it's people who are cutting corners, people who don't care. Those are the people making life changing generational wealth off of the opening of this industry. Mind you, they do not look like me, which is a huge problem because people who look like me were disproportionately affected by the war on drugs. If anybody has any sort of entitlement to the wealth that is going to be generated by this industry, it is people that look like me. We are being actively excluded from this industry's prosperity, and that prosperity is being built on a bundle of lies with lab shopping, THC inflation, pesticide, and mold and mycotoxin hiding or non-reporting. The same people whose ancestors ensured that we were thrown in jail for this substance are now changing their lives off of this substance, actively poisoning us. And sure, as someone who's become a capable grower, who has a pretty adequate growth space, um, a job that isn't too demanding physically, to where I have the energy when I get home to tend to this garden. Of course, I could most definitely grow enough to supply my habit. But as someone who prided themselves on civic engagement and civic service, as someone who got a sense of fulfillment from helping others, I couldn't even enjoy my harvest. I couldn't even enjoy the experience of sampling my harvest. There was no high that was going to help me escape that feeling of responsibility to other stoners. So that said, I've taken it upon myself. This year, this is going to be my project 2025 and beyond 2026, 2027, so be it. However long it takes for there to be real accountability on the part of not only our federal government, but each state's recreational market. Any and everything I grow, down to the last gram, one will be tested for safety, and two will be given away to people who were struggling with their substance dependence the same way I was, you know? And that's all in the effort of reducing harm. I can't expect anyone to stop self-medicating cold turkey. There's a reason emotionally, mentally, why people are dependent on the substance. It's not realistic to say, stop it. They're poisoning you. Because, like, the reality is people don't care. They want to escape. And if I can offer a safer alternative, so what if I have to go without? You know? In my mind, this is how I can have the same impact I had when I was doing community service in undergrad. You know, this is how I can realize that same joy and fulfillment right here, right now. So, if this is something you identify with, tap in, like, leave a comment, follow my socials. I'll post the link tree in the video description. I'll be putting the articles and literature that I've found so far that speak to these issues in my channel description. I'm going to be making this information readily available so that way you can empower yourselves to make more informed decisions about what you're consuming. Because at the end of the day, this is an effort I'm taking upon myself for other people's health. You know, I can't, with the information I have, just sit by idly and watch as things unfold. So, this is something that spoke to you. Drop a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and from here on, I'm this November, I'm not just changing my life. You know, I'm setting out to change the life of whether it be one more person other than me. I'm determined to have a positive impact, and I hope hearing that inspires you to do the same. With love, Obi out.